Coming up next, new efforts in our area to get more people vaccinated from the virus. We're live with the latest information.
Plus, how the pandemic devastated the only airport in State College, but there are new signs of a bounce back.
I think we've already seen a bit of an increase in the number of passengers booking flights.
And we look at the new business projects coming to the Bellefonte area. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon. I'm Jake Starr.
And I'm Milena Brown. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. We begin with the push to vaccinate more Pennsylvanians from COVID-19. The state is still stuck in the first phase of the vaccine program, but more people are slowly getting it. This week, the Bryce Jordan Center opened as a new vaccination clinic for Center County residents. Reporter Sebastian Kraft is live at another vaccine site with more. Sebastian?
Thanks, Milena. I'm here at Mount Nittany Middle School, one of the main vaccination clinics in Center County, along with the Bryce Jordan Center. Center Volunteers in Medicine, or CVIM, is one of the handful of organizations mobilizing to bring new vaccine doses to our community. I met with CVIM's directors earlier this week to get a behind-the-scenes look at the vaccine rollout.
345.
A new vaccination clinic opened this week at the Bryce Jordan Center. The new site displayed early success as residents booked their appointments and stood in line to receive their first vaccine doses. Center Volunteers in Medicine, a local nonprofit, spearheaded the new clinic's launch.
Hi.
Penn State has been awesome hosting us. They've made it very easy for us to be here. They've been a huge help.
The leaders of CVIM praised their volunteers for their outreach campaign to all medical sectors, which ensured the clinic would be effectively managed and staffed.
The response has just been tremendous, and we're so grateful to have them. You know, we have nurses, pharmacists, physicians, dentists, I believe, are soon going to be able to vaccinate, if not already.
As a nonprofit, I think our hearts and our mission really touch the community.
Here at the Bryce Jordan Center, Center Volunteers in Medicine is ramping up its efforts to vaccinate as many Center County residents as possible. However, the nonprofit says it was expecting greater state assistance.
We thought by now that Pennsylvania would have rolled out a larger vaccine effort with, the National Guard or PEMA stepping in to come to our county and help us, at which point we would just get out of the way. That hasn't happened, and so we're still vaccinating.
From a public health standpoint, CVIM is confident its members are doing all they can to maximize vaccine doses and even put leftover doses to further use. The organization is set to distribute 1,200 more doses this weekend to individuals receiving their first round of the vaccine.
CVIM will hold vaccination clinics Mondays and Tuesdays at the Bryce Jordan Center, and then Saturdays right here at Mount Nittany Middle School. At this hour, just under 4 million Pennsylvanians have been at least partially vaccinated, according to the Department of Health. Live in State College, I'm Sebastian Kraft. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Sebastian. Pennsylvania is loosening more of its coronavirus restrictions starting April 4th. Restaurants will be allowed to serve at 75% capacity and offer alcohol without food. Capacities for businesses like gyms and movie theaters will raise to 75%. Gatherings at outdoor venues will jump to 50% and indoor venues at 25%. That includes sports events.
Despite the lifting of some restrictions, there are another local casualty of the pandemic, the Central PA Arts Fest. For the second straight year, the in-person event has been canceled. Organizers say because of the logistics of putting together such a big event for more than 100,000 people, they had to make a decision now. Arts Fest plans to have a virtual event this summer instead. Heritage Days in Phillipsburg is also canceled.
Pennsylvania is also lifting restrictions on out-of-state travel. That means people coming into our state do not have to quarantine or test negative. Reporter Rhea Jha says that's good news for the University Park Airport.
The year-long pandemic hit University Park Airport hard. The the number of passengers in and out of State College dropped dramatically, and Airport Authority Executive Director James Meyer says the difference was stunning.
I mean, it was awful quiet here at times.
According to airport officials, business has been down by 70% over the past year, after record numbers in 2018 and 19. More than 193,000 passengers in those years, compared with an unofficial total of just 73,000 in 2020. They say the number of flights decreased as well because the demand just hasn't been there. One of 2 United flights just departed and flew out today, as opposed to the 5 or 6 flights they normally had before the pandemic hit. Airport Director Brian Rogers also hopes Pennsylvania's decision to lift out-of-state travel restrictions will increase revenue and passenger traffic here.
I think we've already seen a bit of an increase in the number of passengers booking flights since the restriction was lifted March 1st, I believe it was. And there's always some additional cars in the parking lot, which is always a good indicator that the passenger numbers are up a bit.
As the vaccine begins to roll out, U.S. airlines have seen a surge of flyers. Just this past week, TSA screened over 1.2 million people on Friday and over 1.3 million people on Saturday, the most since the pandemic began.
So hopefully, when we get deeper into the vaccination phase, that a lot of those flights and that demand comes back.
In State College, I'm Rhea Jha for the Center County Report.
University Park Airport has nonstop flights to Philadelphia, Detroit, Washington, Chicago, and now Orlando.
Businesses in our area are hoping the lifting of more COVID restrictions help their bottom line after a year of financial struggles. Reporter Tori Bookwalter has more.
Businesses around Center County are finally able to feel a sense of relief after a long year of struggling to keep their doors open among the COVID-19 pandemic. After Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf announced earlier this week that businesses are now allowed to host up to 75% capacity in their establishments, many places are anxiously awaiting to reap the benefits of a larger customer base starting early next month. One bar in downtown State College is especially eager to return to normalcy after being closed for several months to the public. Curtis Schulman, owner of Zeno's Pub, says their shutdown stemmed from the inability to produce the kind of environment they'd like amid restrictions. But they're happy to finally open their doors back up after making minor adjustments around the bar.
We're just excited that it feels like we can start proactively taking some steps to get back to normal. We know it's going to be a marathon, not a sprint, but it at least feels positive.
Not only is this a major benefit for owners of restaurants around Pennsylvania, but also for their employees. Dana Hagen is a bartender at a popular Penn State destination, Primanti Bros. She says that she and her coworkers are looking forward to an increase in tips when restrictions are finally eased on April 4th.
Now that those restrictions are dropped, there's going to be more business for us because we don't have to monitor food with alcohol sales, and people can come sit at the bar, which kind of brings back the bar atmosphere.
Business owners and employees are hoping that the new regulations will stay in place throughout the spring and keep the doors open for more customers. In State College, I'm Tori Bookwalter for the Center County Report.
Again, those changes in capacity limits and bar restrictions start Easter Sunday.
A State College man charged in the U.S. Capitol riot is in jail and awaiting his next court appearance. Julian Cater and another man are charged with assaulting a police officer with bear spray. The officer later died. Cater had an address here in State College and used to run the Fruitables restaurant downtown. Next up for Cater is a detention hearing in Washington, D.C. 8 people are recovering today from smoke inhalation after a house fire in State College. It happened yesterday near Our Lady of Victory Church on Crabapple Court. A teacher saw the fire and called 911. Police had to rescue someone from the home, and they say 5 police officers, 1 public employee, and 2 residents suffered smoke inhalation. Westerly Parkway had to be closed while crews worked at the scene. The cause of the fire is not yet known.
The Center Hall Fire Company is moving from its original home after nearly 70 years. The new facility is in the final stages of construction at the east end of town on Whitmer Avenue. It's taken almost 11 years of planning and fundraising for the new fire hall to be built, but construction is on schedule and the fire company expects to move from North Pennsylvania Avenue to the new building in late April or early May. College Township Water Authority crews are working to replace a water line of a section of a road in the Hauserville area. Work began this week on Puddingtown Road between Spring Creek Lane and Meadow Lane. The replacement is expected to take 2 weeks and as long as weather allows. For those traveling through the work zone, traffic control is in place and drivers are asked to be careful.
Once again, it feels like winter today, but spring weather may finally be on the way soon. We'll have the 7-day forecast coming up. Plus, a new superintendent for our local school district. Also coming up, lots of changes are coming to Bellefonte with new building projects. Find out what's on the way next. Residents at the Center Crest Nursing Facility in Bellefonte are moving to their new home at Center Care in College Township. The new facility has 240 beds and is 135,000 square feet, which is about double the size of the old location. The new home has traditional long-term care along with 3 specialty areas for memory care, high acuity care, and short-term rehab. There's also a larger therapy gym and an on-site dialysis suite.
After 4 years as Bellefonte's assistant superintendent, lifelong Center County resident Tammy Burniford will now lead the school district. Burniford will assume the superintendent position on a permanent basis. The school board voted unanimously for a 3-year contract effective now through June 2024. Burniford's salary will be $142,000 plus benefits.
Also in Bellefonte, changes are coming over the next couple of years. Reporter Shelby Lincoln looks at 2 new building projects.
Change, a word that is coming to Bellefonte. Developers and entrepreneurs have been buying property and making plans to break ground on new businesses. One of the projects is on South Potter Road. Investors bought the century-old industrial complex this past November. Greg Scott, Scott Hillebrand, and 2 other partners want to bring more life into the community to
improve it for the community and maybe have a community asset come out of it, in addition to it being an investment for us and my partners.
The 75,000 square foot space sits adjacent to Spring Creek and has a rich history. It was used for manufacturing, including building railroad cars. Tracks can still be seen today outside and lining the floor. But now Scott and his partners are renting out the space to small local businesses, including artists and welders. They've also been exploring ideas for what the space can be down the road. Ideas include a youth sports arena, brewery, or even townhomes in the area.
Bellefonte is really an up-and-coming area. There's a lot happening.
On the waterfront, construction was expected to start and finish this year, but the pandemic pushed those plans to a later time. The Toran Group has big plans to build a 5-story hotel and retail space, parking structure, and apartment building with more retail along Dunlop Street.
We're all looking forward to doing this project. We think that it'll be the beginning of a renaissance for downtown Bellefonte. It'll bring a lot of new people into the community.
In Bellefonte, I'm Shelby Lincoln for the Center County Report.
Construction along the Bellefonte waterfront is expected to start this fall or early next year. It may be cold right now, but I heard warmer weather is on the way. Let's send it over to Hannah with weather.
Thanks, Jake. So yeah, we experienced showers throughout the day yesterday, but that has since started to wrap up this morning, and we will experience sunshine moving in throughout the day as those clouds decrease, and a pleasant weekend ahead and more seasonal weather throughout the week. So our live camera of Mount Nittany right now shows a nice clear sky, so those clouds have started to wrap up. And our current conditions right now, we are sitting at 34 degrees, but that will continue to rise throughout the day. But it does feel like 24 because we do have a wind coming in at 14 miles per hour. So our temperatures right now across Pennsylvania, we have State College in the middle at 34, and then we have Philadelphia at a high temperature of the state at 43 degrees, and Bradford up in the northwest at 29 degrees. So our temperature trend for the next 5 days, our average high temperature right now is 47 degrees. We will not quite hit that today, but we will be surpassed that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We see temperatures are in the upper 50s, may even hit 60 degrees for the start of spring on Saturday. So today we have a high of 41, increasing sunshine. It will feel quite colder than 41 though, because we have gusts that can get up to 29 miles per hour. For tonight, we have clear skies, low of 25, and those winds are calm tonight. And then tomorrow, those winds will remain calm. We have a high of 55, sunny, beautiful first day of spring, so make sure you get outside and enjoy that weather. So our 7-day forecast for the rest of the week, we have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, pleasant sunshine, sunny and warm, highs in the 50s. But as Wednesday comes around, we do see those clouds moving in, and then Thursday, we will experience some showers throughout the day. Now, here is John with sports.
The Nittany Lions football team is back on the field as spring practice continues. Hear from Coach James Franklin next in sports. Also coming up, can Penn State defend its national wrestling title? We'll have the latest on championship weekend after the break. I'm John Murphy with sports. Penn State football is back on the practice field for the first time this year. Coach James Franklin and the Nittany Lions are looking forward to a new start after a disappointing season.
A new season is on the horizon for the Nittany Lions. The first practice of the 2021 football season began on Monday, providing an early look at the fresh faces on the team.
From a physical standpoint, it's the biggest team that we have had. We're 4 pounds heavier than both the 2016 team and the 2020 team. Our team average weight is 241.
Monday was the first spring football practice to be held since March 2019, so this is a new feel for much of the team. Coach Franklin said the Lions have to continue going through every detail to make sure everyone is on the same page about expectations and standards.
I expect us to go out and practice like a veteran team. You know, we've been able to keep a lot of the terminology the same, you know, in Penn State's offense and what we want to do moving forward.
Penn State started the 2020 season 0-5 for the first time in program history. The season ended on a 4-game winning streak. The university announced earlier this week that Penn State football will host a spring practice for the freshman class.
A final practice or final scrimmage, however you want to put it. A lot of times those things in such a public setting like that are pretty vanilla.
The practice will be held at Beaver Stadium and open to only first-year students. As was the case during the 2020 season, families and guests of student athletes, coaches, and staff will also be permitted to attend. This event will take place on April 17. I'm John Murphy for the Center County Report.
During the offseason, the Nittany Lions hired 3 new coaches, including Franklin's longtime friend Anthony Poindexter. The final spring practice is set for April 17th, and Penn State freshmen will be allowed to attend, but the public will not. Penn State men's basketball team will have a new face on the sideline next season. Purdue Associate Head Coach Micah Shrewsbury has been hired as the new head coach. He spent the last 2 seasons with the Boilermakers. Before that, he spent 11 years under Brad Stevens with Butler University and the NBA's Boston Celtics. Now, Shrewsbury is excited to be a Nittany Lion.
It's an honor for me because Penn State's a great school, first and foremost. And I've always been at places that are, really driven to be great academically. I thought the administration from Dr. Barron to Sandy to Lynn to everyone that I met and interacted with were family oriented. And that was huge for me.
Shrewsbury will face an uphill battle as 6 Nittany Lions enter the transfer portal this week. Currently, Nittany Lion Miles Dread, Sam Sessoms, and Abdu Timbila have not entered the portal. Penn State has been a wrestling machine in recent years, but can the Nittany Lions defend their national title this time around? Reporter Casey Cummer has more on championship weekend.
Fresh off the Big Ten championship weekend at home, Penn State now wraps up its season at the national championships this weekend in St. Louis. The Lions' strong showing on the mat puts them in a promising position for a run at the national title. They were able to fill all 10 weight class spots for the first time since 2014, and with successful runs in 133, 141, 174, and 185-pound weight classes, 4 wrestlers competed for individual titles in the conference final round. And it is those 4 wrestlers that Penn State will be looking towards this weekend as the Nittany Lions battle to bring home their 5th consecutive national title. If Nick Lee and Carter Sirachi can pull off title wins they left on the mat during the Big Ten championships, Penn State has a strong chance to come out on top. Aaron Brooks and Roman Bravo Young will also be key players.
We're known for peaking in this tournament. So even the guys that we're wrestling, they know that Penn State guys are known for peaking at this tournament. So
believing that you're going to just be the best you can be and that you can beat anybody at any given time. I think that, that carries over more than anything.
The Lions know what it takes to win it all.
We're always the ones who are looked at, even though, like I said, Iowa might have won Big Tens. People know from past experience that this is the tournament that, our guys take huge success in.
In University Park, I'm Casey Cummer for the Center County Report.
Penn State is currently in 2nd place in the team standings. In high school wrestling, Bellefonte took the mat against State College last night in the District 6 AAA Dual Championships. That's after they beat Central Mountain in the semifinals. The Bellefonte Red Raiders won the district title for the first time since 2007, 31-30. Bellefonte will hit the mat again next Wednesday at home with hopes of heading to the state dual semifinals. Penn State baseball returns to the Diamond tomorrow for its first home opener. The Nittany Lions suffered a 4-game sweep at Indiana last weekend. They lost games 3 and 4 by 1 run each to drop to 2-6 on the season. Penn State takes the field tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday against Maryland. You can listen to all 3 games on Penn State Com Radio. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thank you, John, for keeping us updated on everything sports. Coming up next, see how the pandemic has turned passion into compassion in the sweetest way. Find out how you can get involved after the break.
Many of us took up baking as one of our new hobbies during the pandemic. For Callie Gasklow and Scott McKenzie, their newfound passion turned into an act of kindness by bringing the organization Cookies for Caregivers to Center County. The organization delivers handmade cookies to essential workers each week to show the community's appreciation.
The feeling of helping heals. And I think the pandemic has hurt all of us in some subtle ways, and helping heals that.
Seeing how appreciative those emergency room nurses were, I just knew that I had to find time in my day to make this happen.
Volunteers have delivered thousands of cookies across Pennsylvania. What was once a comfort food now symbolizes support and gratitude to local essential workers. To find out more, you can go to their Facebook page at Cookies for Caregivers.
It's always heartwarming to hear stories like that. And that's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com, and you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Twitter feed, that's at Center County REP, or on our Facebook page. We also have a CCR Instagram. Join us for our next newscast next Friday. Have a great weekend.
We hope you enjoyed watching the video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you did.
For the rest of our newscasts and featured stories, click here.
And for sports, click here. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.